Silence of the law and sire pressing. Yeah. Right.
Helping to grow the tree of liberty with our posterity intact.
And I'm positively pressing the dagger of freedom into the heart of tyranny. Yeah, I'm a god.
This conversation, for instance, if you're like, fuck you, I'm done. Okay, sir, have a nice day.
Did you just say, fuck you, I'm done?
I've had people
I
say
love
that,
you,
and
you're
I'm
awesome.
like, okay, you have a nice day too. But
Yeah.
it's one of those where, you know...
I guess that's okay with
we're
the
not allowed to be
constables.
offended. We're not allowed to be offended. See?
Well, San Antonio, the chief canceled the First Amendment here in San Antonio. Chief McManus.
That's not my chief.
I know, but I guess the
don't work for the
constables
city.
are okay with the First Amendment.
You
You said you were. You're not allowed to be offended. You just said that. Yeah, you're not allowed to be offended by speech. Now, okay, here's a test. If let's say that, not in here. Of course, this is private property and nobody has free speech in here. But if we were,
well, to an extent, of course.
well, the law can't. I could say what I want, and you can't arrest me. But if they can ask me to leave, yeah, I don't have free speech in here because it's subject to their rules. But out on the sidewalk, okay, or on public property, let's say that somebody said something to you like that, right? Like they were just going off, F you, F this, right? But they're talking to you. And there's somebody else there. Now, what if they said that they were offended by what I was saying to
That
you?
becomes a whole other ballgame.
Are you saying that could be disorderly?
It could be, but I mean...
Well, what is the requirement to be disorderly? It's Jay Gonzalez. What is the requirement to be disorderly conduct?
Well, you have to cause, you really have to cause, like I said, somebody to be inconvenienced, offended, things like that.
Inconvenience? You have to have a breach of the peace.
It's kind of the same thing, but...
Inconvenienced,
Nowadays,
offended, just because somebody says they're offended
Everybody
doesn't
gets
mean they're literally offended. Right? 66 million people are offended by what Donald Trump says every day. And the other 66 million are offended by Hillary Clinton. Right? But an immediate breach of the peace. Now, if there's an officer right there,
if you
and
really
somebody
wanna
breaches the peace with an officer standing right there, is that reasonable?
Honestly, I'd probably be like, hey, I get it, but, you got people that are upset about what you're saying.
But is it reasonable? Because it has to be reasonable. A reasonable person would breach the peace if those words were said. Right? Now, see, if there's an officer right there, right? Like, if I'm talking to one of the people on the street and you use fighting words like what we just described, right? They can breach the peace, maybe.
Threatening
it might be
bodily harm on
reasonable.
somebody is completely different than,
Well, FU is fighting words here in Texas.
okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, right? If you're
threatening bodily injury to somebody else or something like that, that's a completely different thing. That falls under terroristic threats.
No, not quite. Saying FU, like, that's not a terroristic
When
threat. We're going a little bit far now.
No, but if you actually read the definition in the penal code, when you're threatening serious bodily injury or threatening, harm on somebody.
We're just talking disorderly conduct right here.
Yeah, so if you want to go out there and you want to scream and cuss on the corner, have fun.
Well, no. If it's at somebody, not an officer, okay,
that would just be a verbal.
It could be disorderly conduct if they breach the peace over it, right? See, if they think that, like, if you're like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and you're going towards them, right, and they have reason to believe that you are actually going to do that, and then they defend themselves, right? See, then I would be disorderly, right? But if I'm yelling and screaming at you, right, which I'm never going to do that, but if I was,
that's your right, if you want to.
Right, but we're talking about if somebody else was there and heard it and didn't like it, right? But I'm not talking to them. See, I'm talking to you. Now, no reasonable person would breach the peace with an officer right there. Yeah. Press on. One of the people here.
And Lady
Go to
Justice.
Silence the Law and Sire Pressing. Like, comment, subscribe.
Press on. Press harder. Press now. Yeah, yeah. Right?